What's going on, guys? Bruce Matson here, your host show, Metric Scout Fantasy Football. In this video, I want to break down Rashod Bateman, and I really want to go over him from a metric perspective so you know what you're looking at when you look at this wide receiver asset, because he is doing some good things on the field, but week 3 didn't turn out too well for fantasy gamers, and it was an odd week for a lot of top-tier wide receivers. A lot of good wide receivers busted. A lot of good running backs busted. However, when we look at the numbers here, it's quite evident that it wasn't the greatest. 2 catches, 59 yards. The last 2 weeks in week 1 and 2 prior to this game, he landed on some big plays, scored some touchdowns. He's on pace for over 1,200 yards and double-digit touchdowns, which is great. Good thing to see. However, the one thing that is really not allowing him to set free or go bonkers is the targets. He is not getting a large enough targets or a large enough target share for me to feel 100% safe week to week. I feel like this could change in a matter of a few games. I think the game scripts of what's happening here is a big part of this. We've only had 3 games this season and some wonky game scripts already for Baltimore. This game here with the New England was already charted for like a very low over-under. One of the lowest over-unders on the slate, and we got more points than expected, 37-26 game. However, it didn't equate to fantasy points. Mark Andrews, though, he has been stealing a ton of the targets. He had over a 40% target share, which is elite in this game. 13 targets, double-digit targets. Even with that, Rashod Bateman was still second on the team in targets with 4, and Mark Andrews was just soaking it up. And they like to throw it to the tight ends. We saw Josh Oliver get some work. We saw Isaiah Likely get some work. Both those guys combined together, 4 targets in the game. So, almost like 17 targets to tight ends in this game against New England, which is absurd for an NFL team, but it works with the Ravens. So, Bateman's competing with Mark Andrews for the touches. Right now, Mark Andrews has a 36.5% target share. Even with Bateman projected or on the road to over 1,200 receiving yards, he only has an 18.8% target share, which is alright. It's not horrible, but we were really hoping he'd be in the 20s, around the 20 to 25 range at least. That could bump up. We're only 3 games in. We've had some crazy game scripts going off in this season right now, and things will probably increase throughout the season. They're eventually going to have to try and stop Mark Andrews, because 13 targets, double-digit targets on the season is something that you do not want to allow the tight ends to get. He had 31 targets already this year, so that's pretty huge. One of the most targeted players in the league, and he's one of the top pass catchers in air yards. So a lot of these statistics, it's funneling through Mark Andrews. Rashod Bateman, though, is not looking bad. He's making plays. He's made some big moments this season. He's looked good during his collegiate year. He looked good during his rookie season, and he's looking good now. He looked good in week 1 and 2. We just had a low game here against the Patriots. 2 catches, 59 yards, off of 4 targets. Not the worst thing that could happen. He didn't score well in fantasy, especially in PPR. He really was not really rateable when you rank him. So, what are we looking forward with Rashod Bateman? We're going to have his up and down moments until these targets start to increase. In the plus matchups, where it's going to be money printer go burr for these wide receivers, you're going to see Rashod Bateman have some blow-up games. He will have some blow-up spots this year. He's already kind of had some this year, but we should have some more 20-point games on the horizon. He is a focal point of the offense, believe it or not. They're going to have some games where they're just going to have to spin it to the wide receivers, because they're going to try and take away these tight ends while trying to hold down the run game from Lamar Jackson. I mean, if you think about it, you pop past it to the tight end, or you deal with Lamar Jackson running it. You have one of those 2 scenarios, and one of them is probably going to hit, since Mark Andrews is so goddamn good, and Lamar Jackson's a threat to score from anywhere on the field. but there will be games where Rashod Bateman will get his. I see it down the line. If anything, this game could be an indicator that he could be a buy low, but I don't see anybody really selling him either, because there's a lot of people that really love Rashod Bateman from his collegiate profile to what he did last year. He's got a lot of fans, but in your basic redraft leagues, your home leagues, your work leagues, you might be able to snag him up, but I would not bet on him getting 20 points a game. I bet on him having some blow-up games and maybe some downer games as well, like we just saw from this week, scoring, 6 PPR fantasy points. I think everything's in the realm of possibilities due to the Ravens offense. This Ravens offense can get in some weird game scripts. We saw it last year. We saw a little bit this year. And the focal point of targets, how they're being distributed, can just go all over the place as well, especially when you got a tight end sucking up almost 40% of the targets each game. It's really hard for these wide receivers to get going. And Devin Duvernay is also getting a share of the targets. What I like about Devin Duvernay, just to talk about him real quick, I liked him coming out of Texas. I like him after the catch. I like his speed. I like how he gets downfield. And he's always a big play waiting to happen. He's a good guy to have as a guy on the back end of your roster. When you need a flex option, you just put him in and close your eyes, because there is a chance that he could break off a big play on any given week. But Rashod Bateman's good. Nothing wrong with him. Just one of those down games. Just the target share is a little wonky with this team due to Mark Andrews just soaking it up. But there will be game scripts where it will be a Rashod Bateman game. Those are on the horizon. And when I say Rashod Bateman game, I'm saying he's getting like a 20, 25 to 30% target share, and it's all him. Maybe double touchdowns, maybe 150 yards. We're going to have a game or two of that, and everybody's going to be all over it. It's going to happen. Once we get in a huge game script where the points are falling off the board, that's where we're going to see it. Rashod Bateman's going to get his, and maybe for a few games, it may be for a long time, but he is a good wide receiver. He's very talented. He can do a lot of things. He can break off routes, create separation, get you that yak. I'm not worried about him at all. But the reason why I busted here in week 3 was Mark Andrews went ham, and that's just how it goes when you got a stud tight end like that in the offense. But let me know what you think about him in the comments below. Drop it like it's hot in there. Make sure you smash that like button on the way out. Really helps the video and the algorithm, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I'm dropping fantasy football content left and right every day, consistently. It's probably my 3rd or 4th video today, and I'll probably have 3 or 4 tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. That's why I need to be posted up here. But I want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.